open session, and it has been duly adopted by members of the committee. On that note, may I then proceed and request Mr. Ngumalo to lead us with the item, which is an application by SLG Pty Limited as revised cost allocation manual CAM submitted in compliance with the requirements of the regulatory reporting manuals, which are RRMs in short. Over to you, Bob Ngumalo.
Thank you, Chairperson. What we are presenting today, really, and Mr. Ngobeni will take us through that, is a cost allocation manual from SLG. And the reason they are really revising it is because of the restructuring process that occurred within the company. And they are updating the CAM as required by the RRMs. And you will notice that we provided the information in the tables that they are updating. But Mr. Ngobeni will take us through the actual, enhancements that have been made on the cost allocation manual. Thank you, Chairperson.
Good morning, Chair, and good morning, members. The purpose of this submission is to request the REC to note SLG's revised CAM submitted in compliance with the requirements of the RRMs. In August 2011, NESA approved the first CAM for Springlights gas. SLG submitted a revised CAM on the 7th of December 2023. The revision of the CAM was necessitated by changes in Springlights gas's business model. Subsequent to the approval of the SLG CAM in August 2011, the developments mentioned in paragraph 4.7 have now been taken into account in the revised SLG CAM submission. The main changes include changes to the organogram of the organization, the number of employees, and the statutory accounts being used. The statutory accounts, Chair, relate to the interrelated party transactions between SLG and its parent company, Kwande, as well as SLG and its subsidiary, SLCNG. Table 1 below summarizes the salient features of the SLG CAM against the NESA-approved CAM evaluation matrix, and the detailed analysis are also provided in Annexure A. The CAM evaluation matrix in Annexure A, Chair, provides assurance that no cross-subsidization will take place between SLG and its related parties, Kwande and SLCNG, as the CAM prescribes how the allocation of sales and shared costs between related parties will be undertaken when preparing the SLG regulatory financial reports. The SLG CAM is prepared using the fully allocated cost approach, and the audit scope of SLG's RFRs includes the audit of compliance by SLG with the principles of the NESA-approved CAM. Chair, the recommendations are on page 16 under paragraph 14. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Ngumalo and Mr. Ngobeni. Members, the submission is before you. Are there any questions or issues of clarity or points of enhancements on the submission? If you do have any, please, you may raise your hand. I'll recognize you. Thank you. Mr. Mkiza?
Thanks, Chairperson. Thanks to the presenter. From my side, just two issues. Sometimes I get confused. You assist me where maybe I misunderstand. SLG is not short for Springlights gas. It's just now registered as SLG, new entity. But when you go to the emblem on page 14 of 25, it then gets confusing. Just want to get clarity there. And I think the same applies when you go to page 10 of 25. You still refer to Spring Lights Gas Pty Ltd. You can just then make sure that you deal with that. If we talking SLG now, so Spring Lights Gas Pty Ltd is out of the way altogether, just to make that very clear. I think that's 4.1, and then just on the second issue for me is when you're talking of the need for this, if you may just please indicate under 4.3, for example, you said there should be consistent reporting of elements that are required for tariff setting, monitoring, and or tariff approval. I think in submissions pertaining to tariff approvals, there should be some kind of reflection of RRMs, how then they contribute. Because the problem is that the value being brought about by the implementation of RRMs actually gets lost. And we can't say that there's this value add. I think it's important for us to keep seeing the value add so that we can improve where required. Yeah, that is just my main issue here, to say, whilst we appreciate it, let's make sure that the value add is appreciated, understood, and where necessary, there could be improvements. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mkhize. I do not see any other hand. Mr. Ngoveni, do you want to come in, or Mr. Numalo?
Chair, I think I'll start, Chair. And I think we have noted the points of enhancement that Mr. Mkhize has referred to in terms of being consistent with the names of the organization, which is now SLG. And I think it is confusing, Mr. Mkhize, in terms of the emblem, which still states that the organization is SLG, but the former organization has been liquidated, and now the company that is in existence is SLG Pty Ltd. That is the organization that is registered entity, and that's the organization that is registered as a licensee with NASA. On the need, Chair, of this revised scheme. So, for example, Chair, there is now inter-party transactions between SLG and its parent, its new parent, which is Kwande Energy, which SLG purchases a portion of its gas from Sasol and Kwande. So the regulatory financial manuals require that if there are inter-party transactions, they need to be recognized as such in the regulatory financial reports. So this scheme is to show the auditors how Spring Lights Gas will recognize the transaction between its parent company and which is Kwande and itself, so that it is a fair and transparent manner in which inter-party transactions take place, as well as transactions between SLG and its own subsidiary, which is SLCNG. So SLCNG purchases gas from SLG. So those are also inter-party transactions. So the CAM needs to be shown in a clear and fair manner how these transactions take place and whether there is any cross-subsidization between these companies, so that the transactions that are recorded are clear, and the energy regulator is able to make decisions on the tariffs that are well informed about what the costs are between these three organizations or interrelated parties. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. I think the point of enhancements that was made by Mr. Mkhize was that we need to make sure that we do not lose this analysis that's done through the CAM. We need to make sure that in the actual submission, there is some indication that it has been factored in the actual submission that are going to come. It's just a point of enhancement, if I heard him correctly, and maybe let's just indicate that we'll make sure that in the application we do make reference to how the submission on CAM was dealt with. Mr. Ngobeni, will that be acceptable?
Yes, ma'am. Noted, Chair. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Mkhize, are you? Oh, I see Mr. Ngumalo wants to come in. Ngumalo?
No, Chairperson, you've covered me already. I think I just wanted to cover that aspect to confirm indeed that the input that Mr. Mkhize was making, is to the effect that let's incorporate those enhancements. But I think you've already covered that point. Let me not repeat it. Thanks.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much. I see Ms. Maseti's hand is up. Ma'am, you may come in.
Thank you, Chairperson. Chairperson, the only subsidiary of SLG is SLCNG. So I don't want, because this thing it's on the public record, to indicate that Kwande is a subsidiary of SLG. I've already indicated that to the team before the submission came through. So it's important that we don't state things that are not accurate. Kwande is just one of the shareholders in SLG. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that correction. It is duly noted and will ensure that the secretary minutes it accordingly. May I then request members that we move on to recommendations. The recommendations are on page 6, paragraph 14. The recommendation are that we note the SLG's revised CAM submitted in compliance with the requirements of the RRMs. By show of hand, members, can I get an indication that you support the noting and also the points that have been made to enhance the submission that is going to come through? Thank you, Mr. Mkhize. Thank you, Mr. Gumete. I do support. Ms. Maseti, you can just open your mic.
I support, Chairperson.
Thank you very much. On that note, we have come to the end of the open session of our meeting of number 367. We'll then proceed to a closed session. Dr. Mateja, may I request that you close the streaming, but before you do that, let me thank all the members of all the stakeholders rather who have joined us in this meeting. And thank you very much. The meeting is now closed for the open session. Thank you, Dr. Mateja.
Thank you, Chairperson. The meeting is now off. You can continue, Chairperson.
Thank you. We will then move on to item